Last thing we have to learn today is comparing proportions. Comparing proportions is exactly the same as you compared fractions in the last unit so we will just change it into fraction first, and then we will compare those fractions by making the denominator same if we need to. So example, Angie and Bob are mixing paints. Angie has 1 tin of blue paint and 3 tins of white. Angie has 2 tins of blue paint and Bob has 2 tins of blue paint and 5 tins of white. Whose paint will be the darker shade? Yes, we know the paint who has the bigger proportion of blue as compared to the other as compared to white. So for example, 1 in 3 is white, so it is 2 in 5. 1 in 4 is blue for Angie, and for Bob 2 in 7 are blue. So whoever has got the bigger proportion of blue, that person will have the darker shade. So let's just change it, simply just change it into fraction first and then compare fractions like we have been doing earlier. So 1 tin of blue paint and 3 tins of white. In total, how many tins are there? 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. So proportion of blue for Angie is 1 over 4. Proportion of blue for Bob, who has got 2 plus 5 equals to 7. Proportion of blue for Bob is 2 out of 7. So I have to see which fraction is bigger. That proportion will be bigger proportion and that paint will be the darker. So 1 over 4, by looking at it, it is difficult to tell which one is going to be bigger. So I will make the denominators same. When one of them is prime number, you always get the same denominator by multiplying these two. So 7 times 4 is 28. 28. What do you have to do to go from 4 to 28? You have to times it by 7. Same rule, whatever you are doing to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So you multiply this by 7, it becomes 7 over 28. What do you have to do to go from 7 to 28? Times it by 4. I will multiply my top number by 4 as well. 2 times 4 is 8. So now my two fractions, I can see 7 over 28 or 8 over 28. If I compare these two now, 7 over 28 and 8 out of 28, bigger proportion of blue is with this one, which is 8 over 28, and it is Bob's share. So whose paint is going to be darker? All I have to do is you can just write like this to make it more clear that this proportion is smaller than this proportion. Therefore, Bob's paint will be darker. We'll go through another example with you in which sometimes you can simplify the fractions first. It makes it easier to compare and change denominators later.